This is a CBC podcast. Want a weekly roundup of the best CBC radio programming? Subscribe to the CBC Radio 1 newsletter. Get a digest of the week's top stories, read in-depth articles, listen to interviews and documentaries, and get the lowdown on upcoming stories from CBC Radio 1 that you need to hear. To subscribe, go to cbc.ca/radio and look for the subscribe button. The CBC Radio 1 newsletter. Be informed.
Hey Canada, we always glebe you wanting more. From Ottawa, it's the Debaters! The Debaters, where comedians fight with facts and funny, and this audience picks the winner. Now here's a man who's as good as it gets, Steve Patterson!
Hey! Hello, Canada! Hello, Ottawa, and welcome back to the Debaters. Always great to be in Ottawa, a city that holds a Guinness World Record. Some people here don't even know this. No, I'm not talking about most distance backpedaled by politicians, though I'm sure you're in consideration for that. I'm talking about world's largest group hug. Yeah, right here in Ottawa. Over 10,000 people showed up on May 7th, 2010, who either wanted to be in the record books or were desperate for a moment's contact with another human. The hug started on the count of 3 and ended on the count of 3.5, so that it didn't turn into the world's largest lawsuit. Now, are you ready to meet two debaters who set the record for laughs? Looking forward to this one. Her name is Spanish for the Vera. It's Elvira Kurt. Elvira Kurt. One of Canada's very best. We love to have her on, and here she is again for us, taking the podium to my right. And from Glen to Glen and over mountainside, here's that Canadian guy, Glenn Foster. Joining us again. This topic is one that could really only happen here in Ottawa, home of prime ministers, past and present, and such family history here. Pierre versus Justin, who was the superior Trudeau? And at this time, I would just like to say goodbye till next week, till all our listeners from Alberta. But come on back. Justin, of course, followed in his father's footsteps. And it makes me wonder if my daughter will ever follow in my footsteps and become the host of the Debaters. She's actually already pretty good at moderating arguments between my wife and I. She's good with resolutions, telling me, whereas eating with me is like a present, be it resolved Daddy should pay for dinner. Or my bedtime, is it necessary, or are you and Mommy just going to do something gross? I think my job is safe until she finds a booster seat for this chair. Speaking of seats of power, whereas he would likely be more popular today, be it resolved that Pierre Trudeau would be the superior politician to his son Justin. Glenn, you are arguing for this, please. You have 2 minutes, starting now.
Thank you. Pierre Trudeau is the greatest prime minister in Canadian history. He would want me to say that. But he was more than a prime minister. He was a rock star. He was swept into power on an unprecedented wave of popularity called Trudeau mania. Wherever he went, there were screaming girls. He partied with the rich and famous, John and Yoko, the Rolling Stones. He dated movie stars like Barbra Streisand. I was 8 years old at the time, and I thought he was amazing. While Pierre Trudeau is a true original, sadly, Justin is just a cheap knockoff. When he came to power, it wasn't really Trudeau-mania. It was more like reefer madness. Or at least he's not Harper. How far am I willing to go to win this debate? Just watch me. Pierre Trudeau famously said that when he invoked the War Measures Act to deal with the FLQ crisis. Justin copied him, of course, but it's more like, just watch me, somebody, anybody, watch me. Who wants a selfie? Who wants a selfie? Face it, the most impressive thing on Justin's resume is his father's name. In conclusion, the difference between Pierre Trudeau and Justin Trudeau is the difference between being Prime Minister and playing Prime Minister. Thank you.
Glenn Foster with a passionate argument. Great start. Now, to tell us that Pierre's son is number one, it's Justin Jester, Elvira Kurt.
Thank you. What can I say about Justin Trudeau's daddy issues that he doesn't deal with every week in therapy? Not since Jesus has a heavenly father cast such a long shadow. Or had such a big ego. Jesus' dad made it rain for 40 days and 40 nights. So did Justin's dad, except he did it for 5 days longer and he used the War Measures Act instead of rain. But the fact that we're mocking the actual Prime Minister of the country down the street from where he works on a radio station funded by his government. Come on! What more proof do you need that Junior is the better man? A man so confident in his manliness that he kept the name Justin. A man who shows up at a G20 summit looking like a leader, but who you know has a hacky sack in his pocket. Anyone want to boof it around, Macron? You in? Justin Trudeau is effortlessly cool. Dude downplays his accomplishments. Why is there gender parity on my cabinet? Duh, because it's 2015. Yeah. That was a throwaway. Between the Trudeau who made everything be about himself and the Trudeau who makes you an amazing selfie, well, I vote for the no-brainer, Justin.
Elvira Kurt, ladies and gentlemen. Elvira Kurt says Justin Trudeau is a better PM than his dad, Pierre. We got ourselves a debate. Let's see what we can settle in this bare-knuckle round where Trudeau-mania meets WrestleMania. We're debating if Pierre was a superior PM to his son, so this debate came just in time. Yeah. It's time to charter your own course, because you have the rights and freedom to. And don't be selfie-ish as you try to make a trans mountain out of a molehill. I know. Yeah, I know. That last one made even me go, Trudeau! Engage.
For some of us, trying to choose our favorite Trudeau is like deciding which foot you'd like to step on a Lego brick.
Fair enough. Noted.
Yeah, you know, this is nostalgia, Glenn. You're like Archie Bunker missing the good old days, you know, and patriarchal oppression went unchallenged. Pierre is problematic. You gotta stick with the now. Okay, I get it. You're old, but I follow politics. And by follow, I mean on Instagram, like all smart Canadians.
By almost any measure, Pierre is the better. I mean, yeah, who had the greater air of superiority? Pierre's air of superiority was far greater than Justin's. It was superior to his air of superiority.
Just look at the optics of this debate. An old white guy just stumping for a dead old white guy. Who's propping up, who's blowing smoke up a Gen Xer's arse? An ageless lesbian, right?
Elvira?
I'm sorry, Glenn.
I
what?
said fuddle doddle.
Okay. That's the bare knuckle round. That seems like a good place to stop it. Good points on both sides. It is time now for the firing line. In my hand, I have a list of questions on Pierre versus Justin Trudeau, brought to you by Ben Mulrooney. It's nice. Ben Mulrooney. Some apples fall so far from the tree, they end up in a completely different field. By all means, tune in to CTV tomorrow. Justin Trudeau is the first Canadian Prime Minister to do what in Ottawa?
Poop his pants.
3 points. Elvira.
Vape during question period?
Good answer, too. Not just blowing smoke. Justin Trudeau is the first Canadian Prime Minister to be born in Ottawa, which probably soon after pooped his pants. So I've got to give Glenn a technicality. He's probably got the right answer there. In 1968, Pierre Trudeau's first campaign slogan was, "Come work with me." What was Justin's in 2015? Elvira.
What? Me worry?
I liked the voice there. Glenn?
Probably not as bad as you remember.
Justin's campaign slogan in 2015 was "Real Change."
It's all you have left in your pocket.
That's a good addition. Glenn gets an extra half point there. Last firing line question. What famous song did Pierre Elliott Trudeau consider to be good advice? Glenn.
Hey, big spender.
Incorrect, but I like the way you pronounced it, so 2 points. Elvira?
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
2.5 points. Yeah, his actual answer was give peace a chance. Pretty good one. That's the firing line, everybody. Just about time again for our Meridian Theatre at Centrepoint audience to vote. But first, here again to tell us that she puts her dough on the young Trudeau. It's a big fan, Elvira Kurt.
Pierre puts the no in nostalgia. As a leader, Pierre Trudeau was very Dark Lord. Bend the knee or else he will FLQ you up. No thanks. Been there. Been impressed by that. So what if Justin Trudeau runs this country like it's a Fisher-Price My First Prime Ministership? At least you know Justin is DTS, down to serve. Justin is not afraid to roll up his sleeves and then to undo all the buttons on his shirt. And then take that shirt right off, smoldering in his boxers. You Pierre lovers are stuck in the past. Let Pierre have his brooding walk in the snow. We snowflakes know the deal. Justin's bringing sexy back. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Elvira Kurt. Nice job, Elvira. Always a good sign when the other debater cracks up in the middle of the closing argument, too. Glenn liked it. Now, to tell us why no one compares to Pierre, it's the classic Canadian guy, Glenn Foster.
This is my favorite Pierre Trudeau story. One time, he used a secret staircase in the Parliament buildings to sneak past reporters in order to call an election. That's right, a secret staircase. How cool is that? I just don't believe that Justin is capable of that kind of cunning. I think the best he could do would be, "Hey everyone, look at my socks." And then, when everyone's distracted, he slips into a traditional Indian wedding garment snowboards down a banister to a waiting kayak, paddles his way to the Governor General's office, while the CBC lovingly records every magical moment. So vote Pierre or you will get the salmon arm salute, my friends. Thank you.
Glenn Foster on why Pierre Trudeau was a better PM than Justin Trudeau. It is time to vote. Who thinks that Glenn's pro-Pierre points were perfect in this debate? Glenn Foster. Well, okay. Lot of support for Glenn. And who thinks Elvira's Justin jokes and jabs were joyous? Elvira Kurt. Wow. Very close.
Wow.
This is very close. The winner is Elvira Kurt. Justin better than Pierre Trudeau. Big hand for Elvira Kurt and Glenn Foster, everybody.
You're listening to The Debaters on CBC Radio. Did you know you can get past episodes of The Debaters on iTunes? Go to cbc.ca/The Debaters to find out how. And now, back to Steve Patterson.
Hey, Ottawa, are you ready to meet your next pair of debaters? Let's do it. This guy was bred well. It's Patrick Ledwell. Patrick Ledwell, the pride of Prince Edward Island, taking a purposeful stride across the stage. He looks ready, as always. And this comic Hassan, the answer for everything. It's Ali Hassan. Ali Hassan, you know him and love him from all the shows that he does on CBC, and he's here for us, helping with this one today. Thanks, Ali.
Hey, you're welcome, man.
Yeah.
It's a personal favor.
This topic is a pretty good one. Food. Is it good to share it? And this topic is perfect for you two because, Ali, you are a professionally trained chef.
That's right.
And Patrick, word has it, you eat almost every day. Is that correct?
Yeah, I do.
Perfectly cast. I'm sure both of you could make a meal of this debate. So, whereas it's impossible to please everyone at the table, be it resolved, stop sharing food. Ali, you are arguing for this. You have 2 minutes, please, starting now.
Ottawa, close your eyes for a moment and imagine you sit in your favorite restaurant. Your waiter approaches after your favorite meal. There's only one thing left to do: order dessert. And you're about to, but then a voice interrupts. He'll have the chocolate lava cake and we'll have 2 spoons. Ah, my wife. Of course. Thank you, my love. 1 spoon for you and 1 for me to stab my eye out with. No, silly. To share. To share. Are we trying to remount Lady and the Tramp here? What are we doing? You want to share dessert? Great. Now I can't go to the bathroom. I gotta stay here. I gotta eat faster and more aggressively than I had planned. Suddenly it's a competitive eating event. Also, Mrs. Benevolent, where were you when I needed help with my boiled carrots earlier, huh? Pretty silent during the steam-kaled appetizer. And that's the real problem with sharing. Everybody wants the good stuff. Of course, nobody at the table has a problem sharing a sweet potato casserole with raisins in it. But ask yourself how you really feel when your husband takes that last nacho with all the cheese on it, huh? Or when your new brother-in-law takes more of the finite number of short ribs that he's already had 11 of. We need food boundaries. In conclusion, you're out of the family, Andrew.
Ali Hassan. Thank you, Ali. Now, to tell us why, when it comes to food, sharing is just caring, it's the bountiful Patrick Ledwell.
Thank you. I grew up in a family with 6 kids. Food came served with a set of traditional sayings. Didn't like something you served? All the more for the rest of us. Food fell on the floor. Jump on him when he's down. Sharing food teaches you to hold your own and stand your ground. My family fought over any food that was scarce. It didn't even matter if it was delicious or not. We'd fight. The one cherry in the canned fruit cocktail. Drunk on syrup and Red 40. Caused endless fruit riots, leaving us children as swollen and bruised as the unwanted grapes. I live in the Maritimes. So, of course, what are you going to serve your family every Saturday night? Yeah, beans. Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you pack 6 children full of beans? 7:30 on a Saturday night. And then 12 hours later, put them in a van and plunk them in the front seats of a Catholic church. Does anyone pick up a tragic connection in this tradition? Does anyone? Let's just say by the second reading, the words church pew took on an entirely different meaning. Sharing food reveals it to be a musical fruit. A gift that keeps on giving, long, long after it's eaten. Thank you very much.
Patrick Ledwell. Patrick Ledwell is all about sharing food, and you are closer to my inner child. It is time now for the firing line. In my hand, I have a list of questions on sharing food, brought to you by Table Scraps. Table Scraps, the fights that break out when Irish brothers eat together. Not a joke, just my life. TripAdvisor has an extensive list of New York restaurants that charge what? Patrick?
Charge the night air with electric anticipation.
Actually sounds like a TripAdvisor ad, so
It was on TripAdvisor.
I'll give you
It's on
2 points.
TripAdvisor.
They
Ali?
do I?
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, just rub the frog's belly.
They charge a sharing fee.
Correct answer.
Yeah.
That was, we get so few correct answers on
Yeah.
the show that I like it, that the crowd's not sure how to take it.
What?
33% of people surveyed in Kitchener, Ontario said that when dining out with friends, someone is always unhappy with what? Ali?
The proximity of Waterloo. No? I checked there. No one likes a sister town.
That's a pretty good answer. I have to go there at the end of this month, so I didn't like it, but the crowd liked it. Patrick?
33% of people in Kitchener? Unhappy with their hidden German past.
33% of people surveyed in Kitchener disliked, they're unhappy with the way that the check is divided. But 66% of them were fine with it.
Yeah.
So it's okay. A restaurant in Brisbane, Australia, stirred up controversy on their Facebook page by demanding customers stop sharing meals and what else? Patrick.
Unsolicited pictures of their dingoes. That's a nice one.
A restaurant in Brisbane stirred up controversy on their Facebook page by demanding customers stop sharing meals and stop ordering tap water. No one cares. That's the firing line, everybody. Just about time again, that magical time when our Meridian Theatre audience picks a winner. But first, here again to tell us that the only plates that count are the sharing ones. It's the always hungry for laughter, Patrick Ledwell.
Sharing food saves lives. Scientific fact. The biggest food health crisis our country faces is social isolation. You know what sucks? Other people. Yes. Siblings farting beans next to you. Your wife shoplifting what she actually wanted to order off your plate. Eating your kids' pre-chewed organic food out of the compost bin. The only thing that sucks worse, having no people. Sharing food means my life is a picked-through garbage river, but at least we're in it together. So sign me up and give me a honk off your broken cup. I'm a drink deep from the shared life. Cheers and good night, Ottawa.
Patrick Ledwell loves sharing and has science to back up his argument. That is rare for us on this show. Now, here again, tell us that the real deal is the solo meal. It's the never sharing, and quite proud of it, Ali Hassan.
But you know, sharing used to be cool. But nowadays, satisfying everyone is impossible. You got a family get-together, we'll have a vegan, paleo, halal, gluten-free, but I'll still drink beer, dairy-free, soy-free, fun-free. It's a mess. Even at a party, you know, a communal bowl of chips and dip is a bacteria-infested minefield. Now I gotta ask you your sexual history before you double dip in that salsa? No thanks. Whoever said sharing is caring should choke on some linguine. Sharing is swearing. And I'm gonna have some choice, non-CBC friendly words for you if you touch my food. Thank you.
Ali Hassan is against sharing food and has shared chip dip with some pretty questionable suspects. Patrick Ledwell loves sharing food. Let's see what the audience has decided by applause. Who thinks that Ali's anti-sharing food facts and funny found the win in this debate? Ali Hassan.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Some fellow solo eating artists there. And who thinks Patrick's pro-food split was a big hit? Patrick Ledwell. All right. I do not need my inner voice for this one. The audience has spoken clearly. The winner is Patrick Ledwell. Keep on sharing your food. Big hand for Patrick Ledwell and Ali Hassan, everybody. Well, that's all for this week. I'm Steve Patterson saying here's to making a meal out of your next debate opponent and sharing a meal together afterwards. I'll argue with you again soon, Canada. Good night.
The Debaters, created by Richard Side. Produced this week by Graham Clark, Nicole Callender, Katie Ellen Humphreys, and Josh Bailey. Technical production by Jean-Sébastien Villeneuve and Conrad Hijazi. Executive producer of CBC Radio Comedy is Tracy Rideout. And thanks to everyone at the Meridian Theatres at Centrepoint in Ottawa. Hey Brandon, Manitoba, The Debaters is coming to you on April 3rd. For details, visit our website. We're cbc.ca/thedebaters.
For more CBC podcasts, go to cbc.ca/podcasts.